Kalimera. So my name is Walter, and I don't speak Greek. Outside Kalimera and Kalinichta and Kalispera and Yasu.
First trip to Athens.
First trip to Athens, yes. Lovely view of the Acropolis. So I like it here already.
But many times in Greece.
Many times in Greece, but on the islands. I'm gonna tell you a little. Okay, it's working. A little bit about PIM. So, does anybody know what PIM is? PIM software. Nobody knows it. So it means also that nobody has it. That's good. So I'm going to clarify what PIM-DAM is. It's an acronym, and PIM is the meaning of Product Information Management. And it means that you can store, enrich, manage any product data in a database. You know an ERP, and you're using an ERP, so that's where you have all kinds of information. But the PIM system goes much further. And a PIM system like Perfion goes even much further than a lot of our competitors, because we say, what is a product? And for you, you're in manufacturing or wholesale or retail, you know what a product is. This is a product, and this is also a product. But I'm also a product in Perfion. My suppliers can be a product, my customers can be a product, and we can combine everything together. So we can have relationships, one-on-one, one-on-many, and many-on-many. And what can I store in a PIM system? What I can't store or can difficult store in an ERP system is any information about the product. It can be any technical aspect about the product, but it could be certificates, it could be images, it could be videos, it could be data sheets, Word files, Excels, DVG. We don't care. And you can combine everything together. Also with the ERP, of course, because ERP is the transactional database. And the second thing that it also has inside is a DAM system, Digital Asset Management. So it is for all your images that you're having for your products, but also your videos and your files. So you can store them also. And what most of the people are doing now, they're using file shares. So putting files somewhere and having a certain hierarchy maybe, and then somebody needs to know something. Oh, it's in, where is it? And it's probably 5 times somewhere, file A, file B, and file Z. And now we call it single source of truth. So put everything together in one combination together with your ERP. The difference between ERP and PIM is that an ERP system is enterprise resource planning. So for finance, production, HR, sales, procurement, services, that's what you know. And all the things that Manuel told you about, all the extensions that can be made on top of the ERP. But the PIM system is for product management. Even for R&D, it can start by the development, somebody having a bright idea in the bar at night, putting it on a tablecloth, taking an image, and then store it. And then it could be secured. So it means that nobody else besides R&D and management maybe can look at it, because if R&D does something and sales knows it, then they already start selling it and it doesn't even exist. But also marketing, sales, multi-channel, e-commerce, websites, data pools, print, and search engine optimization. Those are all things, they don't belong in an ERP, they can't be in an ERP, or you go a customized way that you don't know where you're ending. So a PIM system works neatly together. Use the right tools to do the right thing. Yes, I can cut an apple with a saw, but I'd rather use a knife. The challenges that most companies have with the product information is that they have the information. But if you look at this picture, they have a lot of information, but it's spread throughout the company. It's spread in the different departments. It's spread in different systems. A lot of people are using Excel. Yes, it's a great tool, but it's a tool that you use to what it's supposed to do. A lot of people using Excel as their product information system. We see Excels that are bigger than the Acropolis, And they also have constant mistakes, and they can't find the mistakes anymore because the Excel has got 20 tabs and all kinds of information. Access to accurate data is important for all users throughout the company because you have to be reliant on the truth about what you're asking. And we see a lot of people that have different versions. And if you ask somebody, do you have the latest data sheet? And somebody will say, yes, I have it. And he shows it, and then the other one says, but I have it too. It's another version. Now, which is the right one? Is it version 1.1 or 1.2? That makes life easier, but sometimes there is no versioning, so you don't know. So without a PIM system, this is likely a common data landscape. If we put it flat, you have the product info. Now you want to share the product info. So ERP databases, you need to exchange data to the ERP database with Excel files maybe or with imports, and it's a one-time thing. You have e-commerce and websites. That's again something more specific because it needs specific information to go to the e-commerce or to the website, and it's not the same information or more information than you want in the ERP or from the ERP system. And the other one is the online marketplaces, and we talked about it yesterday, and I can't remember the name. I always say Google and Amazon because the biggest one, but in Greece it's called something else. E-commerce, sorry, a data pool? What was it again? You said it yesterday. It was Scrooge. Scrooge, that was it, yeah. And classifications, so classifications, I come back to that topic a little bit later. If there are people in here from the pharma industry, you probably know GS1, so that's classification. And then the third one is printed output. So printed output is making your data sheets, catalogs, safety sheets, instructions, whatever you want to have as output. Can be digital, but can also be hard copy. So that's what you need to do with your product information. And that's the struggle that most companies have, all these files going from left to right, and are they correct, yes or no, putting it to the marketing department. 7 people are looking at it, and when it's on the market, then somebody says, yeah, but there's a mistake in there. Oh, okay, we forgot that. Up next, the ecological footprint. So you probably already know that in 2025, this comes into play, meaning that every company needs to be aware that this is happening. It's a EU regulation. You can't escape from it. It will come in your sector in the year after year. So you will need to know and maintain and be able to support this. So it's not a can I, it's a I must. I have to. How? It's the enabling of the circular economy with the digital product passport. So who has heard already of the digital product passport? It's silent in Greece.
When it comes to regulation,
No? So prepare yourself because this is coming, and it's a EU regulation, and it will be enforced by every government in every EU country. It actually means that what is a digital product passport? And it's a small thing. Any physical good, including components and intermediate products, placed on the EU market or put into service. So if you manufacture and put it on the EU market, if you buy, import from outside and put it on the EU market, it has to have a digital product passport. Some are exempt, few sectors, food, feed and medical products are exempt for the moment. It will come in phases. So 2025, the first phase will be everything with batteries. Can be a lot in the do-it-yourself sector, drills, and but also in toys, electronic devices. Everything with batteries need to be on a digital product passport. And you can find a lot of information on the EU legislation. Just type in digital product passport and you have a massive information. So the Perfion solutions to solve these problems are the first thing, we can do it differently, automate it. So you have the same thing, but on top you have the Perfion PIM with all the product information that you need. or want, and you have your ERP database. I put in 2 SAP logos because I understood that there are people using SAP Business One, but also there could be people using SAP, the big SAP. And we have connectors for these ERP systems. They work seamlessly together. And in bi-directional way. So information from the PIM system to the ERP system and information from the ERP system to the PIM system. Second topic in exchanging information is the e-commerce and the websites. Again, we have a lot of connectors, but we can connect to any technology, being it WordPress, Drupal, PHP, we don't care. It can be a fully custom website, we can integrate with it and you can exchange data. There's a little orange draw going back from the e-commerce to the Perfion PIM. Why is that? We can't cope with orders because orders is a different life. It goes from the e-commerce side to the ERP. But we can cope with, for instance, reviews. Somebody says it's a great product and you want to use that review for another thing, to put it in your catalog, to put it on Facebook, to whatever you want to do with it, and you want to capture it. The third thing is the online marketplaces, the data pools and the classifications. So I talked already about the GS1. There are people in the pharma industry here, I think. Yes? So you have to know GS1, huh?
Yeah, we do.
It's a beast. It's every 3 months I get a headache. Beast. And it changes all the time. So it has its advantages, but also it has its disadvantages. Are there people knowing ETIM in the classic? No? ETIM is in the technologically for HVAC, cooling, ventilation, yeah, that's ETIM. So it's also a classification to classify products according standards. And the last one, the fourth one, sorry, is brochures and catalogs and everything output that you want to do. So we have the connector with InDesign, so you can make fancy, sexy catalogs or let it produced by third parties that they do it for you, where you need to, of course, pay for it. But if having the information already structured ready, it will lower your bill massively because you are in control, total control of your data and your images and anything that you want to share. But we also have incorporated, we call it a report designer, so you can create templates and make anything you like, from a simple data sheet to a catalog of 1,000 pages or a price list or a safety sheet. Anything can be done. We put Perfion centrally in the organization and we have a roles and a rights structure. So you can define who can have access to what. And you can also always monitor the changes. So if somebody makes a change, you know this person made the change from A to B on that date, that time. Logging, and you can also recover it, turn it back again. But also with the roles and rights, maybe not everybody can do it, but also only a manager can do that. 3 typical PIM users. The last and for us the less important one is IT. The most important people are sales and marketing, product management, R&D, because they are the masters and the people that know or need to know everything about the products, especially the product managers. He needs to know everything about the product. Purchase could be also, because if they're buying, they want to maybe store certificates of raw materials also on the data to be exactly sure what it is and where it comes from. So product management challenges, easy and flexible product modulation. Data import, onboarding and data export. The third one is fast enrichment. And the last one is the DAM and the multilingual data. Going a little bit into detail. Product modulation. We also have dashboards that are fully configurable. We don't have a dashboard that we say you need to use these. No, you can configure these dashboards yourself. In the widgets, if it's a pie diagram, if it's a bar chart, if it's a counters, and they are drill downable. So you can click on it and it goes immediately to what you want to know, and you can immediately start working on the things you need to do. Also workflows are incorporated that you can manage your processes. And the product modulation is about, I have here a bottle and it has all kinds of features, attributes, and this has got all kinds of others. So I can configure everything that it fits, that I need all this information about this product and I need all this information about that product, and it's an unlimited hierarchy. So you can, if you have several variants, it can be that you have a more elaborated data structure than if you have only one thing. We also, you can see this, it looks like Excel. We call it the grid. And you can have an item card, which you know from the ERP system. But we can also work in the grid, meaning that we have a lot of products that can be shown in one overview with all their attributes. So you can work in the grid Excel, and a lot of shortcuts are using like Excel, but it's more Excel on steroids, so it's much more powerful. And you can see in one overview, even with languages, if you would have different languages, and like people who are exporting and they're working in Greek, but also in English and maybe in another language, you can see the languages next to each other. Do I have everything? There are a lot of things are possible in the system. Data import, onboarding, and data export. Most PIM systems face the challenge of aligning data sources. So if you are reliant on data coming from somebody else, from your suppliers, and some suppliers, they are well equipped, they give you very good data, maybe in an Excel file, maybe in an XML or something else, maybe they give you a PDF sheet and say, good luck. But the problem is, not all the suppliers, they will give you the same Excel sheet. They will have their own Excel sheet, and that may change constantly. So in Perfion, we have a couple of tools, and one of the tools is Perfion Actions, the other one is Perfion Supplier Portal, and the other one is Content Portal. Perfion Actions is a very powerful tool where you can import and export and do internal things with data. Import, for instance, one of the suppliers gives you an Excel file and you do mapping. You say, I get something, and the supplier calls it green, but I call it yellow. So you just map it, you convert it, and then when the next file comes from the supplier, you don't need to do anything because it flows in. And if you have another supplier with another data structure, you just do the same thing. And it can be XML, it can be JSON, it can be web services, it can be SQL. We don't care, as long as it's digital and not a PDF. Even there are solutions, but you need to scan, OCR it, and convert it. Supplier portal, I'll come back to that later, and content portal, I'll come back to that later also with the specific information on that one. Fast enrichment, and you see on the right hand side, you see a diameter 1.5, and everything below is 1.5, and you see 0.17, and the other two are also 0.1.7. It means we use data inheritance from the higher level. And because we can put levels, you can also have inheritance limitlessly. It means that if I put it on the highest level, everything below will inherit it. If I put it lower, then it's everything below. It makes life so easy if you have, like the variants, if I have this device in 7 colors, but for the rest it's all the same, I can have default values saying it is this and this and this material, and the only variant is the color. So I can put some things on the highest level or even default values from the start, and I only need to do one change, and that's the color. Here with the sizing, diameter, same thing. We also can do data validation, so people need to fill it in, or it's imported and it has to have a value between 0 and 5. If I put 6 in it, then you can configure the system saying, no, nothing, it can be done. Or, yes, but you have to pay attention. Are you sure you want to have 6? Because it says it's the limit 5. Now I'm sure. So accept, and you always will see that it is outside the range. Fast enrichment, also integration with AI. So AI is the buzzword, of course, these days. We can do a lot of things with AI, and it's scary correct. It will even get better and better. It will also help you a lot in the business, because a lot of things can be done by AI, helping you doing things that, yeah, for instance, search engine optimization. If you have products on the internet outside, you want to give taggings to a product, and if you ask the marketing people, you say, here are 100 products, I need 10 tags for every product, they will go like, oh, yeah, okay. Try to think of 10 individual tags to put on a product. If you give it to AI and you give some parameters, within 30 seconds, you get it back. And it's absolutely good and correct. Even writing text, we use it a lot, or customers of ours use it a lot to write commercial texts. And they write it in a few seconds in different languages if you want, and the only thing you need to do is check if it's correct. DAM system, we're talking about files, and here we're talking about images. You can store as many images as you want on several levels. You can put it on a higher level, you can put it on the product level, but you only need to store one version of your image. So if you have an image from different angles, I looked at some of you are here in the pharmacy, you have a packaging from something, and you have different angles. Maybe you even have it in different languages. If you are selling it in Greece, you want to have an image with a Greek package and a Greek text on it, but if you're selling in the UK, you don't want the Greek package, you want the UK package on it. So it's two different images. But you only need the highest resolution, and the DAM system can do everything else. So it can change from resolution, it can change from sizing, you can have a watermark on it, you can even have a cropping, you can have a hotspot on there, you name it. But it also has own, we call it features, attributes. So meaning I can have here a validity date as an example. I can have a photographer, I can have a modification date. I know all the technical specifications. Because it's digital, I can even know which camera has it, has taken the photo, or which lens is on there. But if I want to use it also for here tagging, I have serving, it's only one. I can have multiple. So I know if I want to push this to something outside, or I want to send it to one of my customers who's asking me, can you give me everything that you have for serving? I don't need to do much. I just say to the system, give me everything on images that you have on serving, and it's there. And if you want to have it in 2 categories or 10 categories, not a problem. So libraries with own features. Also with files. So if you have files, PDFs, Word, Excel files, you can also have a complete libraries and link them to individual products or link them to groups of products, so families. Multilingual translation. We have built-in translations with translation memory systems. Most common are Google Translate, DeepL, there are others out there, but you can have a key that links to that memory systems, or you can also have a translation agency that works for you. So if you have a translation agency that works for you, they use XLIF, that's a technology, it's like an XML. So you send the file in Greek, which is your mother language, and you say, can I get it back in English and in French? They do the translation, you import, done. Or you have translators working maybe directly in the system. That's also a possibility. And like with B1 Up, we also have the integration with Teams. So it could be, or an email notification, and the translator, the only thing he needs to do, click on the link, the software opens, he does his translations, okay, and then somebody else maybe does the validation. But on the internal side, the only thing I need to do here is click on it. There's a button coming open, and you see this translation with the Chinese sign saying that you want me to translate from language A to language B. And here it goes. And the same thing, translation memory systems. I used to know it like 15, 20 years ago. You would put something on Google Translate and you would run scared away what it does with the translation, because it did everything. But nowadays it's getting really, really good. This also can be automated, fully automated, that you create texts and automatically in the background all the translations are being done with the automation. And the only thing that needs to be done, of course, is maybe check it. But if I don't speak Greek, if there is something in Greek, I would say, okay, this is in Greek. If it's correct, I don't know. What we can also do is have automated text generated from attributes, features. So I can write a text. This is a beautiful pointer in black from the brand Logitech. Brand is a feature, black is a color. I only write this is a beautiful, pointer is a family or a product. And if the other pointer is red, I don't need to do anything. It will write automatically, this is a beautiful pointer in red from the brand Logitech. And that can be done also. Here you can have different languages next to each other. So the grid, the Excel file, let's call it like this. You can see everything next to each other to see, are the translations correct? Is it already there? You can also, of course, have it with the dashboards. Show me all the missing translations. Bam, and it gives you everything that you need to know. And we support all languages. So globally, there is no language that we do not support because we are a Microsoft technology product. And Microsoft has, out of the top of my head, now 159 languages. So if you want to have 159 languages, go ahead. Marketing and sales challenges. Publish products online. We live in a digital world, so there's much online going on. Catalogs, data sheets, price lists. Yes, we still print a lot. We print more than we did before. Product insights and data quality, and share assets with customers. So the first thing, painless products online to websites, e-commerce, apps. We don't care what it is. You can publish to anything, globally, anywhere. How does it work? Oh, sorry. That's a slide that I had yesterday. But I tell you how it works. If it's working together with the ERP system, it means that all the transactional data comes from the ERP system, so from your SAP Business One, maybe your inventory, the specific price for or discount for the customer, of course, or for the customer group. But all the other data, which is more than you need on the transactional side for the front end of the e-commerces, they come from the PIM system. And that's where you see a lot, and you probably also maybe buy some things on the internet and then you go to a certain site and then you think, okay, why? It says beautiful product, there's no image. How can I know it's a beautiful product? So you have to have all the information available on your front ends. Print to all kinds of outputs and even on the fly and customer group specific. This means we can have, as example, you have your data sheet of your product that you have available in a PDF format. You put it on your front end, on your website, or on your e-commerce that people can download it. So we can have it automated that whenever you create a product or a new product, the data sheet is created also automatically, maybe even in different languages, and put on the front end so it's available for download. We can even go one step further, that when there are changes in the data, that automatically there is a new data sheet created, even the different languages. The old one is taken out, the new one is put into place. So you are always up to date. In some cases, it is necessary to have the data sheet or something else so up to date that whenever there is a change in the system, it needs to be correct for the outside world. And then it means that we can have on the fly, I have the button of the data sheet on the front end, but actually there is no data sheet. So if I click on it, the system generates at that moment the latest data sheet with the information on the fly. You can also make price lists as an example with your data from your customers in the ERP system and creating sexy, nice looking price lists or price catalogs. Product insights and data quality means that every department and people, they want to see their data as they see it. So in the production, they see differently to data than in the marketing and in the sales and management. So That's why with all these dashboards that you can create in all kinds of levels, you can have all that data insight on how it's doing. You can also connect it to BI systems. So having your transactional data and your product data living in one world. So it means that you can have different reporting going on about your world, your product and your outside world selling. Okay? IT challenges. First of all, oh, don't turn off the TV in 5 minutes. Huh? Somebody needs to do something? No, it's gone. Seamless ERP integration. 100% standard, robust infrastructure, and easy integration. First things first, fully integrated PIM and SAP Business One or SAP ECC. It means that in SAP Business One, you get another button, which is called Perfion as the PIM. And then people that work in the ERP system can also have access to the data from the PIM system. It's the PIM client inside SAP Business One, and we can show data, so it's a viewer, show data that is not living in ERP, that is living in another database, in Perfion, but it's made visible. We can also, of course, update data that is living in ERP, but it is maintained in the PIM system. So the master-slave relationship, who's the boss and who needs to follow. There is also another, what happens in the ERP, then changes in the PIM. And then with the second one is the bidirectional. So you can create a product from scratch. It doesn't exist in the ERP. You make it in the PIM system, or you import it from your supplier in the PIM system. You enrich it with whatever you want. And at that moment, when you say now it's ready to become transactional, then it flows into the ERP system, and then all the rest goes on, your accountancy rules, your pricing, and everything else that needs ERP driven. Eh? "100% standard" means a lot of systems need customization. We don't like the word customization. And like with SAP B1 Up, it's also it's about small things configuring and not hours and hours of coding. Perfion is fully configurable, and that's something else than customization, because configurable means that you can do it yourself after training, and you need to know what to do, of course, but a lot is with drag and drop, so it's easy. When you do a mistake, you can go back again. And we have building blocks to pick from. So it's a standard solution, it's got all the whistles and bells, and then you have different modules, like a Magento connector or something else. That's a connector. Not everybody has it, needs it, so you only need it, then you can add it to it. Fast implementation, it means it's got a very low return on investment. Of course, it's an investment, but it brings you the money back fast. And when it brings you the money back fast, it also means that it's bringing you money faster. And it's always up to date. We make sure we come twice a year with a new release, and that the software is constantly up to date, and you need to make sure that your product is up to date, or products. Robust architecture and infrastructure. It's Perfion Azure, so it's Microsoft, it's rock solid. What do you need to say about it? Easy integration with other solutions. So we got ERP plugins, but also with Microsoft Word, Excel. It's easy to import and export from these things. Adobe InDesign, AI, classifications, translations. Oh. Supplier portal. Now I want to tell you a little bit more about another module that we have, which works needlessly together with Perfion, and that's the supplier portal. How does it work? It's actually, if you're your own manufacturer, it could be not of interest, but it could be also maybe of interest, because you have suppliers that supply you with product that you can build whatever you're building, and they also supply you, of course, with data. So a supplier works that the supplier is responsible for his data, and he can work on a cloud tool, getting his data into the supplier portal. It can be done manually, it can be done with import Excel, but it can also be done with connection to their own systems. So how does it work is that the supplier items are living then in the supplier portal, and the Perfion users can then check which of the data products do I want. If you are a wholesaler or a retailer, maybe you have a catalog of 100,000 from one supplier, but you only want to sell 1,000 and the rest you don't care about. So you just say this, this and this, and all the technical data, you check that if it's correct or not, and you accept it, yes or not. Could be that you have your own images from a certain product because the one from the supplier are not good enough for you, and that's also the same thing. You take it or you don't. And then it's accepted, enriched, and then the supplier can't do anything about it anymore until he says, I have changes that I want to bring to my products. And then he can do the changes.
The water is for him.
Oh, thank you. I was getting thirsty. The content store or content stores is the other way around. So one is for getting data in from suppliers. This is getting data out to the world. How does that work? So you have Perfion, you have the content store, you have data. It could be technical data, it could be files, images, videos, doesn't matter. And you have either where you say anybody can see certain data, and then you have limitations where you say this data is specific for this customer group or even this customer, and then you can have different portals where they can access and download the data. So it makes you sure that when you publish the data and they're using the data, and that's very important, especially for the manufacturer, that somebody else is using correct data, because otherwise somebody is putting an image which doesn't correspond with the exact product or even technical specifications which are out of scope. Making this is also making the life of your customers easier because they can take it, put it on their website, and well, maybe sell more and you sell more. This is a view. It can be customized, so you can make your own images, your logo, colors, whatever it looks like, and it can be under your or incorporated in your website or in your e-commerce, and it also has responsive design, so it can be also on the mobiles. It can also be for internal use. If you have salespeople on the road and they need to be constantly have access to accurate data, then they can also use this and have, of course, more information than your customers. Perfion architecture, a little bit techy, but not much. How does it work? Actually, this is it. It's a big picture, but it's easy. We have a Windows client, we have a web client, we have a database, we have a lot of APIs, and then you have all the other outputs like the content store and the supplier portal and all the output on the right hand side. And you have data flowing from left to right or from one side to another only. That's the technical background behind it. References, I put some slides of references. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. Maybe they're in your industry, maybe they're not, I don't know. So we have references in production industries, in wholesale and distribution, and in retail, and in all of these. So, yeah. Many more. So maybe you're in one of those. I think so, because I saw the names of your companies, so I looked at it. Some examples. Home products, Boyum is making these tea glasses and everything else that they're producing. They're using Perfion globally, so every Boyum office which is locally is using the same Perfion database, but they can have local assortments. We also in the home decoration, so curtains and sunshades, and we have people producing them. We have also wholesalers in the medical devices, but also in the industry, in the heavy industry, pumps and valves and machines. In the process and pharma, so we have people in the paint industry, we have in the medical, we have in the bio, customers. Most of them are also working more than local, working in different regions with different languages. In the automotive, heavy industry, also in the group AS is in the accessories and spare parts for automotive. We're also having customers in the boating world, jet ski equipment and archery and all these things. What else? Electronics. Electronics like fuses and lamps, and they have a catalog of, what was it, 1,200 pages, I think, with an enormous amount of products, and also with diagrams, and they're all living in Perfion. So if you want to have, if you're in the electronics world, you know these catalogs where you can find anything from a product, it's in there. That's one of those. But also in the heating industry, or the cooling industry, we also have ventilation companies. In the do-it-yourself and the building industry, so Bauhaus, that's a name that everybody knows, but we also have some of the local Bauhauses in countries, and they have a very wide assortment, so a lot of products, but condensed. They don't have every drill from Bosch. They have a few of them, but they have something else also. And then in the building materials, this is Profi Baustoffe is specialized in plastering and all those things. But you also have in wood, concrete, Citizen watches in the fashion, Essentiel Antwerp. We also have in the fashion industry a lot of companies that are in the work clothing. So you see, it's very vast. Food solutions, we are very good in wine. We have a lot of people that do wine, even wine producers. And the funny thing about this one is, we all know wine. We drink wine, and we know we like the wine or we don't like the wine. We know which grape it is, which color it is. But in Perfion, the complete story about the wine producer is in there, and about the wine region, and about which wine goes best with which food. That's all in Perfion. It makes the life for these people also very easier, and they can make a lot of, let's call it cross-sell, because if you have a wine where you say, this is good with this dessert, people are reflecting, I like this dessert, I need this wine then. So it's turning everything upside down. We're also having, we call it media and books. We have publication agencies in books. We also have people that are making these wish cards and gifts and those things. And I think the last one, it's not the last one, it's the pre-last one. Education, we have schools that are using Perfion with their training courses, with their teachers, with the history of their teachers, which diplomas they have, and which certifications. And I think the last one, is music. West Music is a music retailer, so they're selling violins and drums and all music instruments. But Hal Leonard is a music publication agency, and they're selling books on how to play piano and those things. So you see, it's so different, our customers, and large. Small recap about the advantages. One single source of truth for your product information. It's two sources, because your ERP is also, of course, important for your transactional data. But about product information. It's a user-friendly GUI, so it's easy to work with. Everybody works with Microsoft products, Outlook, Excel, Word, so it's very easy to adapt to Perfion. Central setup, share content to all desired channels. If tomorrow you want to launch another website, or you want to launch an app, or whatever you want to launch, you can feed it from within the system. Built-in report designer and a InDesign plugin. Release updated product info to the correct channels, so you are in control. I want to have this, needs to go there. If you have multiple websites, you can tell to the system, this product needs to go all over my websites, and this product needs to go only to that one, and this needs to go to that one. Access data for the business unit divisions, so you can exactly, if you even have a company which exists of different companies doing different things. One company is selling bananas and the other one is selling cars. They can both be in Perfion, but they could be separated, meaning that the people selling the bananas, they don't see what they're doing with the cars. High quality product for conversions, so if you need to convert it to something else. Total control, consistent product info, and the workflow in the dashboards that support your business. And they are not, you can change the workflows any way you like. Standard, it's a standard solution. We don't do customization. What you see is what you get. And we always develop and make it better. And it means that also, with the new update, you have the new functionalities. The only thing you need to do is apply them or not. Fast implementation and update meets and follows the market requirements, low risk, low cost. .NET platform, so it's Microsoft technology, and it's SaaS, so it's a SaaS solution. You don't need to worry about all the technicalities that need to go on. And that was me. I talked a lot. So I want to know some questions. Any questions? Anything? And then it was either boring or I said the right things. That could be the case. If you have questions later on, I'm still here. And otherwise, you can ask the TEKA people, and they will, if they don't know the answer, they will contact us, so not a problem. Thank you for your attention and time.